So, welcome along to part 3 of Sweet Judy Blue Eyes, and this is the trickiest part of the 4. There's a very improvisational feel to Stephen Still's playing in this part, and I'm going to talk some more about that in a moment. What we'll do is we'll take a look first at what I've called the interlude, and it's the first part you hear, the little acoustic guitar solo before the vocal comes in with Chestnut Brown Canary. So let's take it, well, sort of a section at a time. I'm going to call this the first section. Let's take a look at that bit. Now, what we've got here, still of course in our open E tuning, we've got our first finger on the first string 7th fret and ring finger on the 9th fret of the first string. And we're going to play a very fast hammer-on with what I use is an up flick with the pick. And then very fast hammer-on from 7 to 9. And it doesn't matter if I get only the first string or if I get a bit of the first and second. Then we'll take the ring finger off and we'll play back at the 7th fret. And then hit the bass note, the 6th string. So it's coming in on the and of 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4. We play that exact sequence twice. And we play it a third time, except this time that bass note is followed, so there it is on 3, we're going to play and 4 and, down at the first string 4th fret, play that note plus probably with the 2nd string too, twice, up down, an upstroke on the open top 2 strings, and then the first finger will go to the first string 2nd fret and we'll go down, and then off comes that finger, the top 2 open strings, up or down, doesn't really matter. Bass note again on 3, and we'll call that the end of that first phrase. Let's play it again. 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. Phrase 2 begins just at the end of the first line of your tab as bar 5 goes into bar 6 on the second line, and it's going to go like this. It's almost the same. The first 2 sections up to, let's have a look, up through bar 6 and bar 7 are the same. At the end of bar 7 though, so that'll go twice round that section, but now at the end of bar 7, instead of the hammered on 7 to 9, we're going to play in the same rhythm, 7th fret 1st string to 5th fret 1st string. And then this little phrase, which is the 5th fret 1st string, twice going up down, 4th fret 1st string up, 2nd fret 1st string, down up, down and then up at the 4th fret, and down on the open top 2 strings. So we have 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4. The tab shows that 2 to 4 as a hammer-on. That's, either way is absolutely fine, whichever you prefer is going to work fine. We've reached bar 10 of the tab, and the third phrase, which you can think of as being this one. So here we're starting on the unusual note of the 2nd string 4th fret. Play that note. It's on the first beat of the 10th bar. Then the 6th string open on the 2nd beat. On the and of 3, come to the 1st string 5th fret. And then on the and of 4, we're going to go to the 2nd string 2nd fret and very quickly pull it off to open, leading us to the first beat of bar 11, which will be the 6th string open, and by the way, on the 3rd beat of that bar, you can strum all the strings. So we get 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. So to bar 12, where we get this, which you can pad out, as you can see on your tab at bar 13, with a strum of the open strings if you like to. You can hear that on the record, Stills is doing that. So here we have the open first string played with the second string 7th fret. Then the 9th fret of the second string with the open first, 6th string open, and then sliding up to the 12th, which, although it's not shown on your tab, it's shown in parentheses. You can hit that again on the first beat of bar 13. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. Where you put the bass note doesn't matter. You could put it after the 7th fret note if you like. That's all absolutely fine. Well, we're nearly there. We only have 1.5 more lines of this very cool little interlude to play. We're learning this, of course, exactly as Stephen Stills is playing it on the record, but I'm going to come back and talk more about the improvisational style in a moment or two. But at bar 14, we want the first string 7th fret. We're going to strum down across 4 strings, the top 4 strings. That's going to count 1, 2, 3, on the and of 3, strum up on the open top 3 strings, and the 6th string on the 4th beat of the bar. So that's going 1, 2 and, oh my bad, 1, 2 and 3 and 4. Now this interesting chord, 5th fret of the 4th and 3rd strings, play the lowest 4 strings. If you do get the 2nd and even the 1st, it won't matter because of the open tuning. We're going to play, that note is the first note of bar 16, but we're playing here out of this chord shape that we just looked at. 1, 2, 3 and 4, and on 1 of the next bar, second string 3rd fret, open 6th string. Now make sure you used your middle finger for, or your ring finger would be fine too, for the second string note, because we're now going to put the index finger on the second string 2nd fret and do a very fast full off 3 to 2 to open. A 16th note triplet, followed by a couple of notes I'm saying on the tab, 3rd string, 4th string. They're the same note, of course, so it doesn't matter. You could even just strum a little bit, but that triplet is key in there because it sounds so great. And I finished it there with the first beat of bar 17, just a strum of the open strings. And we finished with this phrase after that strum of the open strings. That little lick. So we had a strum of the open strings, 6th string, top 2 strings open, 2nd fret of the 1st string with the open 2nd, 6th string, and the same top 2 strings again still fretted at the 2nd fret. That's going 1, 2 and 3, 4 and. Now bring the ring finger, without moving the index finger, bring the ring finger out to the 4th fret of the 1st string, play those 2 with the 2nd string, 6th string, and then and 3 and 4 and is going 4, 5, 5, 4, 2. Did you get that? So that bar 18 is 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and finish with some kind of strum of the open strings. That's going to take us into the vocal and chestnut brown canary. So, we learned that interlude, that part of the interlude, exactly as Stephen Stills plays it on the record, because it's kind of fun to hear what he's doing. But always keep in your mind that Every time he plays this, he improvises that part. And later on in this lesson, I'm going to show you some patterns that you can use to improvise, and we are indeed going to improvise using those patterns between verse 1 and 2 and between verse 2 and 3. So you can learn this first part exactly as he plays it if you like, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's quite fun, it sounds good, but remember that even in the studio as he played this, he was improvising, and he would never play it exactly this way again. And we'll do some improvising too a bit later on. But first we have a little vocal part to take care of. On Chestnut Brown Canary, we're going to begin to play this. If you want your tab, it's at bar 20, or it might be advisable just to move over to the song sheet at this point. We're going to play a climbing pattern. We want the first string 2nd fret, 2nd string 3rd fret. And play some kind of pattern like that, moving that same shape up 2 frets to 4 and 5. Chestnut Brown Canary. There are various strum patterns you could play here. If you like to follow one in particular, try something like down, up, down, up, 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 down, down. That would be by no means the only pattern that would work here, but if you do like one to follow, that's a good one. Okay, next we're going to go back to our original position. 1 and 2 and then a couple of beats at 5 and 7 of the top 2 strings. I'm up, up, down, and I'm going to go down, down, up, back at our 4 and 5 shape. Ruby-throated sparrow. Now A6 over E, it says on your song sheet for sing a song. That chord is simply the one that we just played, 5 and 7. Sing a song. Move it up 2 frets to 7, 9. Don't be long. Move it up 3 more frets to 10 and 12. Thrill me to the... You hear that each of those is 1 bar, yeah? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And on Marrow, we're going to echo the vocal by playing this, which is a half bar at 12. If you've got a cutaway guitar, you'll find that much easier. Top 4 strings at the 12th fret, and the 14th fret of the 1st string. Down, down, up, and then down, down, up again, and with just the bar as the ring finger comes away. Marrow. Here's that whole verse. Chestnut brown canary, ruby-throated sparrow, sing the song, don't be long, thrill me to the marrow. Now we get what the song sheet calls interlude on open E. That is an improvisational passage like the first interlude that we learnt a moment ago. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to give you some patterns and sequences on the top 2 strings that you can use to improvise around, and I really recommend just exploring these and playing around with them. That's all Stephen Stills is doing here. Let's look at what we can do on the 1st string first of all. Remember that it sounds good with the 2nd. Because it's an open tuning, you can even be strumming 4 chords if you prefer, although Stills generally doesn't do that. 2nd fret's a good one. So is the 3rd fret. Make a note of these on your song sheet or your tab so you can come back to them. Oh, I beg your pardon. The 4th one. 5th. 7th. 9th. 10th. 10th is a bit bluesy, be careful of it, but you can use it. 11th. Oh, not 11th. 12th. And if you get up that far, the 14th too. Notice at the end that I pulled off there. Pull-offs and hammer-ons are very effective when you're playing this kind of improvisational style up and down one string. There was a slide from 5 to 7. That's the other effective technique. Don't forget hammer-ons, 5 to 7 again there. Slides, hammer-ons, pull-offs, very, very effective with this kind of style. You've also got notes on the second string that you can use. The second fret, very effective, as we've already seen, for pulling off to the open string. Third fret. Fourth fret is usable with a little bit of caution. You can use it, but you need to resolve it very quickly, either to 5 or to 2. 7 is good, 9 is good, 10 is good, and 12. 14 as well if you want it. Try and intersperse these notes with an occasional bass note or a strum of the open chord. So. That's just playing around with the notes that we talked about on the second string. You can do the same thing on the first string, or you can even join them together. When you really get to know them well, you know any combination of notes from that list will work fine. For example, the third fret of the second string and the second fret of the first string we've already seen. So, what I'm going to recommend strongly that you do is learn the first interlude as Stephen Stills played it on the record, as we learned it at the beginning of this lesson, because it's very useful to learn to play in the style of Stephen Stills, and in that way, as I recommend that you improvise between verse 1 and 2 and between verse 2 and 3, you will be improvising in the style of Stephen Stills because you've learnt one of the things that he plays note for note, and you have some sense of how he likes to improvise around these ideas. Does that work for you? Excellent. All right, we're almost done because verse 2, Voices of the Angels, of course, is like verse 1. Then there's another interlude, which we'll improvise on again. And then Lacy Lilting Lady, the final verse of this part, is played the same way as the other verses. And then you have a final interlude, which is not improvised, so we'll learn that the way Stills plays it. We're now on your tab at bar, bear with me a moment because I've covered it up, at bar 30 on the second page. It's the bit that sounds like this. Of course, that'll take us into part 4, which we'll cover in the next video. What have we got going on here? We've got the 12th fret of the top 2 strings and the 14th fret of the first string. You might ask, why am I covering the first string with this finger? It's because I need it later on in this little lick. I'm going to play on all the beats and all the ands. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And although the tab says the top 2 strings, I really am not going to care if I get a bit of the third string as well. Now that last note where I came off to the little 2-string bar is the first thing that you see at bar 29 of your tab, the 2 12s. And we're going to pad out that bar with up, down, up, somewhere on the low end of the chord, so that we get, for those 2 bars, this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Notice that that little 2-note bar came on the and of 1, not on the 1. Now we repeat that sequence. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now on the and of 4, back goes this ring finger. We play 14 and 12 again. Up, down, down. That's on the and of 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Bar 32 of your tab. We'll play that sequence twice. Up, finish with 3 strums, 1 of 14 and 12. All of these will be up strums because they're all on ands. The and of 4. The and of 2 is the 2-string bar at the 12th fret. The and of 4 of the next bar brings that shape down to the 9th fret. And in fact we'll finish by bringing it down to the 7th. On the and of 2 of the next bar. From, let's say, from bar 32, or the note that comes into it, and off we go into part 4, which is where, guys, I will see you next.